Hey, this is Elan, and I have Claire with me today, and we're just going to have a quick chat about some of our experiences on my 8-week transformation program. Myself and Claire have been working together for just going on 9 weeks now. How are you doing today, Claire?
Yeah, very well, thanks.
Cool. So, Claire, I was just wondering, what is your profession?
So I work in a hospital doing coding. So it's basically it's like an administration role. We read through the charts and dissect information out of the chart and put it into a national database.
Cool, it's very interesting. So you're working on the front lines all through the pandemic, pretty much.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Nice, fair play. So in relation to the 8-week program, I was wondering, like, why were you struggling before starting my program?
I was struggling because I'd lost all motivation. I think because I was working long hours and I just lost all motivation to. I was tired when I was coming home from work, so I wasn't just had lost motivation to come home, do something. I just wanted to come home and rest, get something to eat and rest. And I just needed a kickstart to get me out of that habit. And yeah, just because my hours were after getting much longer in work. And yeah, I just needed help to get me back into a routine of doing workouts
Hmm.
and eating healthy.
Yeah, makes sense. So you were working a lot of hours, your energy levels were lower, and then it was hard to kind of stay on track with your training or make yourself basically like the number one priority.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't prioritizing myself. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really difficult to do, especially when you're working so much in the pandemic. So it's only normal.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was wondering, like, what was it specifically that you were struggling with, like, before starting my 8-week program?
I would say definitely I wasn't eating enough protein. Even though I had been told before of like how important it was, I think I thought it was more complicated than it was to make sure you're getting enough protein in your diet, and also just struggling to prioritize myself and um, like just get back into doing workouts and yeah, get a good sleep pattern also.
Hmm. Yeah, because sleep was quite an issue, like when we started, wasn't it? Like you were like, how many hours was it you were getting per night before we actually started working together?
I think maybe on a good night I was probably getting 5.5. Definitely wouldn't be getting any more than 6.
Hmm. Yeah, so it was pretty cool to see. Like it was pretty much within like the first week that we made some changes that your sleep had, gone up from, like, where had it gone from, like 5.5 up to, like, was it like 7.5, 8, pretty
Yeah,
much?
7.5. Yeah, and average. Yeah, mostly even the nights that I wasn't getting as much was
Mhm.
near enough hitting the 7 hours. Some nights it might have been like 6.5 to 7 hours, but yeah, it was averaging at least that.
Amazing.
Where
So
before that was pretty bad.
yeah, how was the extra sleep like making you feel, like going from like that 5 average up to like 7.5? Like, what kind of difference do you feel that made?
Oh, big difference. I noticed that I wasn't getting like slumps in the afternoon in work. I actually, some days I wouldn't have even noticed if I was kind of in the routine of having a cup of tea, let's say at about 3 or 4 o'clock. Then once I was getting enough sleep, I wouldn't even notice that it was 4 o'clock in work because my body wasn't like aching for a cup of tea or something to keep me going. If I did have to stay another few hours, I was nearly surprised it was that time because I wasn't hitting any slump. I wasn't getting tired. I was able to keep going.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing. Good stuff. So I was wondering, like, before, like, you started the program, like, what were you kind of skeptical of before, like, making the investment?
Probably I maybe I didn't believe in myself enough to, I knew that I needed to do something. And um, I'd say, yeah, my biggest thing was that I didn't believe in myself because I definitely, my confidence, I had quite low confidence. So that just made me lack the belief in myself that I could do it, even though I knew I needed something to give me a kickstart. But that would have made me a bit skeptical. Like, will I actually like will I keep doing it for the 8 weeks, or will I just be motivated for the first week and then be like, oh, it's grand, sure. But no, I have to say I was motivated. I just found that I was definitely in the right headspace to start and then to keep doing it.
Amazing, good stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, looking back now, 8 or 9 weeks later, do you feel that it was worth it in the end?
Oh, definitely. I've even noticed that my confidence, even if I hadn't even, and I have lost weight, and I love the shape that I am now, and I've noticed that I'm not bothered about the scales, what the number is on the scales, even though it has gone down. But any other time I was on any sort of diets, or I was always obsessed with the scales. Even when they were like, I was told not to weigh myself, I used to do it on the sly so that I'd know how I'm going.
Yeah.
And and like, it's awful, but I used to nearly weigh myself first thing in the morning, and then that would like shape my mood for the day. If I was up, I'd be disgusted with myself. Whereas I didn't do, when I was told on this plan not to weigh yourself, I didn't weigh myself. And I nearly forgot about weighing myself. But I could see the changes myself in my shape and in my clothes. So I wasn't too bothered about weighing myself. But it's definitely changed me. Like, even, from now on, I'm not bothered about scales, or I'm not as focused about. I like the shape that I am, and I know that different foods are going to make me feel good and not make me hungry an hour later, that I'm feel like I am on a diet. I maybe for the first few days, I'd say I probably felt like I was on a diet, but after that I didn't really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So would you say, like, the plan that we put in place for you, it's definitely been more sustainable? It's something that you've been doing for the last 8 weeks, but you can also continue for months and years to come. It's not something that's like a quick fix, or is unsustainable, but it's something it's manageable for the future.
Yeah, definitely. Because I even find now that if I do go and do my food shop without a list, I generally prefer to do it with a list. But even on the days that I might go from work to say, and I'm not entirely sure what I have in the fridge, I know I'm buying like lots of meat, lots of protein and veg, even though I would have been buying lots of veg before, but I definitely wasn't eating enough protein. And it's just made me definitely more aware of that, and just easier for me to shop, even whether I have a list or not.
Yeah.
Know exactly kind of what I need to get.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
What,
So there's been some really like big breakthroughs between like your sleep and your weight loss, and making it easy to stay on track with your food. So I'm delighted to hear that. And I'd love to know, like, what do you feel like have been some of your specific results that you've been really happy with, like over the last 8 weeks?
Definitely my confidence. And as a result, I'm more inclined to, I suppose I hadn't been doing a lot of, because I was working and because of restrictions, I hadn't been doing a lot of like anything that I enjoyed outside of work. Whereas now, and I would have been a bit hesitant about doing it, and not anything to do with like COVID or anything, just that I didn't have the confidence in myself to do it, and I didn't want to be doing it on my own. Whereas now, if I see something that I want to do, I don't even care if no one else wants to do it with me. I'm like, nah, I know myself, I'll enjoy that. So just put your name down for it, and then just do it and try it. And if you don't like it, then, but so far, like, all the things I put my name down for, I do like. And the only thing is, I'm just raging that I let my confidence dictate whether I did sign up for things before this. But it's definitely made a huge difference to me now. I definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. So it's more like investing that time in yourself for your training has definitely branched out into the rest of your life as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, big time.
Cool. All right. So last thing I want to ask you for today. So, like, who would you recommend my 8-week transformation program for?
Any of my friends that were like struggling, or like, I'd even recommend it to people. I know some people like would always say they prefer to go to a gym where there's other people, but I have to say I wasn't sure if I would be the type that would be great at sticking to a plan where I wasn't going to a gym. But I love this program, and I did want to do, I did do the workouts even though I wasn't going to a gym to do them. So I think if I would recommend it to people that may have said to me in the past they only like going to the gym where someone is there actually talking them through each exercise, that they still should give this a try, because it is you make everything so easy and to follow, and it's very easy to follow, and it's like you're motivated to do the next workout and track your food and all. Like it was never ever a chore for me, which has never happened to me before in any sort of diet plan that I was following. It's always after about a week, it's definitely been a chore. I'm like, oh God. But this one, I have to say, it hasn't been a chore for me at all. So that's why I'd recommend it to other people, because I think it would suit people who are both think that they would like the gym, but still mightn't have the time to go to the gym. It would definitely suit people you would definitely be able to do it at work, because I've done it and worked out at home, and I would have thought I was the type of person that needed to go to a gym and have someone not necessarily shouting at me, but telling me what to do. And
I haven't had to shout at you or do
no,
anything like that.
you haven't shouted at me. No, I wouldn't really like people shouting at me. I like not that kind of workouts, but it is I know it is motivating when you're in a gym and there's loads of other people doing the same exercises as you and you're doing it all together. But I just found on days where I maybe mightn't have been as motivated during workouts as other days, I just put on a really good playlist. And I'd find that even in work, when I'm thinking, like when I'm doing my work, and I'd be, because I can listen to work or music while I'm doing my work, but I'd be there like composing playlists for my workouts, because I'm like, oh yeah, that song will definitely make me really go harder for that exercise. So yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone who asks me, and actually a few people have asked me about it.
Cool, amazing. Yeah, so would you say just like the overall flexibility of being able to book our one-to-one sessions for the morning time or a time that suits you, and as well as the group classes, kind of that extra support between all of those has just made it easier kind of to stay motivated and on track?
Oh yeah, definitely. And like there's so much choice as well with the times that you can pick, because like as I was saying, some of the time I was booking them for the evening times, and then I'd get stuck in work and I'd be booking them for a time where I think I'll definitely be home from work at that hour, and then on the day I wouldn't. So then I was there, why don't I just book them for the mornings, because I get up early anyway. And then you have them done and you're not in work thinking, oh, I hope I get out of work in time for this. So like it's very flexible, because there's so much time to, like there's so many times available to pick for the one-on-ones, and it's just brilliant. Like
All right, cool. Well, thanks a million, Claire. I really appreciate that and your feedback, and I'm delighted to hear that you've enjoyed the program so much, and hopefully we'll keep it moving forward. So
absolutely.